Monaghans Galway, located on the Tuam Road, is the leading dealership in Galway for new SKODA, CUPRA and Seat models. Now is the perfect time to order your new car or visit Monaghans.ie.
You're welcome along to the Maroon and White pod. So now I'm joined by Annaghdown intermediate selector Mary Kay Killilea to look ahead to their side's clash with O'Donovan Rossa in the All-Ireland semi-final. Takes place this Sunday at 1 o'clock in Annaghdown GA Club. 60 minutes away now they are from an All-Ireland intermediate final. Mary Kay, firstly, an All-Ireland semi-final in Craig. It's something very unique.
It's anything. If you're a player, it's one thing you dream about is always playing at home. Like so, I mean, to have the semi-final there is just such a great thing to have. So I'd say everyone's looking forward to it, especially people in the parish too, because I know we'll probably get to it. But as you know, there was people that travelled to Edinburgh last week, and I think a lot more will want to travel as well, but couldn't. And it's just great to have this at home now and kind of give the fans a good game, hopefully.
Just on that, you're in Edinburgh last weekend and there was fears that the game wouldn't go ahead.
Yeah, it's not the first time we've come up against weather conditions. One of our other games in the Connacht was delayed by a storm, and then this time we flew out to Edinburgh and a snowstorm came. So they were lucky to only have a delay about a half an hour for the game, and they had some people clear the pitch for them, so they were lucky to play it. And I think everyone was delighted that the game could go ahead.
What were you thinking in that moment?
Well, probably a lot of people were thinking, "Wow, snow," but wouldn't be something we'd get a lot. Definitely wouldn't be what you'd think would put off a football match, especially being from Galway. But yeah, look at I don't think people might have thought about it too much. Tried to just get focused on the game and kept the eye on the prize really.
On that, you got the job done over in Edinburgh. Happy enough with the performance. It's obviously unique too, going over there, flying over for the game and everything that's involved with it.
Yeah, like I think it was a big step for the team to have to travel that far to go somewhere. So I think just prep work in that it's exciting as well. It's nice to get away as a team. It kind of bonds them together that way as well. But yeah, just glad to come out with the result. The girls played really well. There was no joke going into that game with a competition that we were going to be up against. All British champions. It's a lot to be said for Dunedin. So just glad the girls played. How well they played really just reflects on how good they are as a team. So delighted with the result.
You must be very thankful to the community because I know you set up a GoFundMe, and I think a lot of people in Annaghdown were probably surprised in one way with the amount that was raised, but just the generosity of the community to raise that amount of money for you to go over.
Yeah, it was a great shock to see anyways. But the supporters, like I mentioned before, they're, as you'd say, the 16th player. They're always at the matches, always there supporting with the flags up, and they're just so great to have come behind the team like that. Even after the we won the Connacht, like the homecoming and the fires and all of that kind of stuff was just great, and it just shows that they're really behind the team and really um value the girls that are there, and want to see them through to the end.
Do you get flashbacks of 2016? You're obviously captain back then, and Niamh Duggan was obviously part of the team too, where you went on to win the Intermediate All Ireland on a week like this.
Yeah, it brings back a lot of good memories now, I have to say. A little bit nostalgic. You wish you could be playing too, like, but it's the girls' time to be playing. But yeah, no, it definitely brings back memories. And there are a good few girls that would have been a part of that team as well that are still playing now. So it's good for them to, have a new kind of generation coming up with them, and even the young girls coming up too. So it's nice for them all to experience it. And yeah, just from being there, I know it's a great feeling to have, and just to be there with your team. So
Is it a big change being on the line now?
yeah, it is. Still a lot of instruction and stuff like that. But yeah, it's different. It's I would have, ever saw myself doing, but it's great. It's great to be involved with the girls, and kind of always being with the club. Like, it's a great club to be part of, and just being back involved is just, it's a good feeling. It's nice to be back involved.
You obviously came in this year as a management team with Martin O'Neill, yourself and Neve, and Anthony Carey obviously as well. How was it getting involved at the start of the year? Because looking at the club, like they suffered two heartbreak defeats in the last two intermediate finals.
Yeah, like I mean, look, it's hard for the players too to have to go to consecutive finals and lose. I think, just Martin brings a lot to the team, and so does the whole management team. There's a lot of experience there from being involved with the teams before, from being involved with underage. So I think it's just a nice dynamic that's Martin brought together to get a bit of everything, and everyone have their input. So seems to be received really well. So yeah, just hopefully we can keep going. I mean, it's been a long year. The girls have been training since November last year. So I think, if we could just keep going, get the last few games over the line, it'd be great.
Was it hard at all to pick the players up when you came in?
There's so much talent on the team. I mean, one thing that's really a testament to the club is that we have a junior team as well. And so you have two teams that you can pick from, and, you can only put 30 names on a list, but, everyone is always fighting for their place. And there's such a wealth of talent with the girls, young and old. So it's great to see that, there's experienced players there that are bringing on the younger players, and the younger players bringing in, fresh kind of atmosphere into the place. So yeah, look, it's always hard to pick a team. But I suppose it's a blessing that we have that much talent in the club, and hopefully we can just keep that going with ladies football in the club for the next few years to come too.
Was it a release valve when you won the county title, do you think?
Oh, definitely. I think that was the biggest thing going into this year is the girls wanted to win a county title. As you mentioned, 2 years in a row being there and just not getting over the line. I think everything after that is a bonus. So it's just great to keep on going. But yeah, it was a great game to have and to win, and especially close to home that time as well, playing over in Carlostrand. So
You mentioned it there. It's safe to say it's a very young Annaghdown team.
yeah, there would like I said, there's a lot coming up from underage. We have some juniors playing with us as well. So it's a nice mix of an age, but we do have the heads that have been there. We even mentioned a few of them that were there in 2016. It's good to have the experience and the younger, fresher kind of players coming through too, and just growing the club. Really, it's just a great thing to have.
What has the journey been like? He went on to win the Connacht title and even in Ember and the All Ireland quarter final. But what has the journey been like after going since you've got out of it and went on these wins?
I suppose when you're playing in Galway, you kind of see the same familiar teams that you'd be playing in the league or in championship over the years. So Galway is kind of something that you'd be used to. So I think the one thing that's a challenge when you're coming out of that is, how to get to know different teams and how to, kind of react to how they would play. So I think, we've come up against a couple of challenges in Connacht, very close wins, just down to the wire on one of them as well. So it just shows, the work rate that the girls have. And, even again, mentioning that we went to Edinburgh, the traveling is a big change for them to go over and actually have to perform too. So, I think the amount of work that they've put in with the fitness and even just the mental kind of aspect to it too, it's all kind of paying off for them now.
Is there much he can do on a week like this?
It's hard to turn around, I suppose, after a week and go into an All Ireland semi final. But I suppose, just try and get the head right, get the, focus on Sunday, and just keep doing what we've been doing. So
Is it hard? Is it hard to maybe park that excitement because obviously there's a huge amount of people very excited around the parish, as mentioned from the outset. Uh, Home All Ireland semi final in Annaghdown, like it's probably something that might never happen again.
yeah, like I said, it's great to have it. But it's also would be it could be a daunting thing. Hopefully, we can just kind of keep the girls training and keep their week kind of normal enough, and just keep them on the path that they've been tracing for themselves. I mean, it won't be easy. Cork are O'Donovan and Rossa are a good team. They won the junior All Ireland last year, so it's going to be a battle either way you look at it, even if it wasn't at home.
And what makes this particular bunch of Annaghdown players so special?
They're a great bunch of girls. There's always, a good mindset, a good mentality about them. A few of them I play with myself, so there's a bit of a history there. But the younger ones are are coming along, and everyone is just really, tight knit. They're all into football, so it's one constant that you can have. And I think one thing with football and being a part of a team is great to have that, because you'll build those friendships and you'll have them for years to come. So yeah, I know, like I said, they're a great bunch of girls, and I just I wish the best for them too. So
What are you expecting from O'Donovan Ross on Sunday?
they're a strong Cork team, like I mentioned before. They won last year in the junior, so I suppose we just have to do our homework and make sure we can match up as good as we can and play to our strength.
The prize as well, it's fairly big when you consider it when you're in an All-Ireland final, but the extra bonus of it being in Croke Park.
Yeah, that's a nice change of events. Look, at everyone always wants to play or be in Croke Park at all, so to play in Croke Park, I think, would be a huge thing, especially playing with your club. Um, some people have played for county and stuff like that, which is always like, look, at anytime you play in Croke Park, it's going to be great, but definitely with your club, it would be just such a nice, special moment. So, look, at hopefully we can get there. Just we have 60 minutes to play first before we can even think about Croke Park, so we have to get over every game first before we even look forward to that. Like so.
Great stuff. Well, the very best of luck on Sunday, Mary Kate, and thanks a million for coming on to the podcast.
Cheers, thanks, man.
Now you're welcome along to part two of the show, where I'm joined by Kilkerrin Clonberne goalkeeper Lisa Murphy to look ahead to her side's All-Ireland semi-final against Clonberne up in Armagh this weekend. Does it still take a bit of getting used to when it comes to an All-Ireland semi-final, or are you well used to it by this stage?
I suppose people would think, we're well used to it now, and we probably are, but like along the way, there was a lot of hardship and losses too. So, everyone that comes along is special in its own right. So we had we lost a few All Ireland semi-finals there, Connacht finals, All Ireland. So, you take these days when they come and you really appreciate them, because as we know, they don't come round. I know they've come round often for us, but as I said, we had our fair share of losses too. So you really do appreciate all these big days when they come. So really looking forward to it now.
How do you keep the hunger going every year?
I suppose that touching back on what I said there about the losses, I do think that's something that really spurs us on. The last few years we've been successful, but before that there was times when we hadn't been, and I suppose it's that hurt that you still feel, that really drives you on, and you kind of don't want to have that feeling again. So I do think it's that really that pushes us on and motivates us, because as I said, we lost Connacht finals, All Ireland semi-finals, and an All Ireland final by a point. So you just don't want that feeling again. So the hunger is definitely still there, and it's definitely those days of hardship that I think push you on the most, even the successful days obviously as well, but it's that hurt that you still carry that really drives you forward.
It really is special times for the club when you consider it's like 12 goals in a row, 7 Connachts in a row, and 3 All Irelands in a row. Obviously, going for your fourth All Ireland now in a row.
No, it is special, and we're a really small community, and I do think that's probably what drives us on as well in that sense. The community is so involved, and these days are for them as well as for us. A lot of our family are involved in obviously the management, but behind the scenes as well, in the committee and in the fundraising for our lotto and things like that. It's for them as well as for us, and they live for these days. These days out, sure, they've been planning it since the Connacht final. They've been planning the logistics of going up to Killilea, and so it's for them as much as for us, and they're just such special days. When you're playing under 10, under 12, to think that you'd have this success with your small club, it's something you'd never have dreamed of, but it's very special, I have to say.
Is it extra special still being involved with your club around like coming towards Christmas now?
It is special, because none of us will probably be at our Christmas parties for work and things like that, but it's worth it. Obviously we're such a close bunch of girls, so it is worth it in that sense. It kind of does make the lead up to Christmas extra special, but as I said, there is things you miss out on too, the work parties and stuff, Christmas parties, everyone's getting ready for them at the moment, and I'm getting ready for something else, but it is very, very special, I have to say. It does make the lead up to Christmas that extra bit bit more special.
Just before we look at your year so far, just on it, Nicola Ward getting Footballer of the Year this year. How big is that for the club?
It's huge for the club. Like Nicola's an unbelievable player and an unbelievable leader and friend. She's just to have her up there, getting Player of the Year, and Olivia getting her All-Star as well. It's huge for a small club like us, and it really motivates, the girls there that, are pushing underage with Galway, the girls that are on the panel with Galway as well, it really pushes them on to see that this is what you can do. And I think it's great for the club, and the underage in the club are so involved and committed. They see the older girls doing well, and it'll keep them involved, and they'll want to achieve that if they can at all themselves. So it's great, and Nicola's a great ambassador for us.
Overall, how do you look at the year so far?
The year has actually flown by. Like it feels like we were only preparing for last year, you know,
Mm.
a month ago. But it's been a great year. We lost a few girls through traveling and through immigration, and Lisa had a little baby as well, Lisa Gannon. So, that was a bit of adjustment time as well. But new girls came in on the panel and they slotted in really well. So, it was an adjustment period. But it's been a good year so far. So we're going well.
Does it help when all the girls are away with the county for the younger players to get game time?
I think so. In an aspect, yeah. We've the league there, and we've done well in the league as well this year. And it's great for the girls to be able to slot into those positions. When the county girls are gone, because obviously we've a lot involved with the Galway team, so there'd be 5 or 6 spots there that they're getting the chance to play in. And it really has brought them along. So definitely, it's great for the girls to get the game time.
On it then, the Galway campaign. If people were looking from the outside, they'd probably say you won it comfortably enough. How do you see the Galway Championship?
We don't see it that way at all. Every year teams are getting closer. The gap is closing, so you have to be on your A game all the time. And, it might look like that from the outside, but we certainly don't see it that way or feel it's that way. The Galway Championship is very competitive, so you really have to be on your A game at all times. And we take every game as it comes, no one's ever taken for granted. So to get our 12th, we were absolutely delighted with that because it's hard to get past these teams.
In Connacht then, you probably just played some of your best football against Glencairn and probably just caught them on a day where you really went at them. But do you think it was important to get that test against Westport in the Connacht final then?
Definitely, Westport, they've come up the ranks, to win Mayo this year was an unbelievable achievement for them. And I will say they're a great team. They're going to be around for a long time to come, and I think that game will definitely stand to us. It was a tough battle out there, it was swinging Westport's way at times, and we really had to dig deep. And it's a game like that really you need, and you want that tough game, and I do think that really will stand to us.
Has there been much done since the Connacht final?
Yeah, there's been a lot of training in the snow and in Storm Burt there at the weekend and things like that. We've been training in the Midlands as well. We've a few girls up in Dublin, so there's been a lot of work put in. A lot of focus. So, we're hopefully that will stand to us at the weekend.
You talked about the hunger earlier on with the group, but how do the management keep it so fresh year on year?
Do you know what? I do think it comes down to like us as players as well. I'm not saying they have an easy job, they probably would say different, but we hold ourselves to such a high standard. I think, you know, ourselves and then as to the other players, the standard is kept high, and in some ways it's like an inter-county setup in that sense, we're just so focused on our game, and I suppose we've been together for a while now, so I think that's also helps that we're a tight-knit group. But the hunger is definitely there in everyone. I can tell you that from training last night.
You've seen as a club the advantages when you get a home All Ireland semi final, and that's what Annaghdown are getting in the intermediate this weekend. But like it's not going to be a deciding factor, but there is this big advantage. Like you are nearly going into the lines then when you're playing in someone's home patch in an All Ireland semi final.
Yeah, definitely. Look, they're going to have their same morning routine they've always had. They wake up in their own beds and they'll have their breakfast, together with their families and things like that. There is that. And, we'll be going up the night before. You'll have that journey ahead of you, things like that. We just have to make sure we're stretched out and all that the night before. But yeah, it is a big advantage to have the home crowd as well behind you. I'm sure they're going to bring everyone with them. So it will be tough, but it's definitely something that is the home advantage is a big thing to have for sure.
What are you expecting from Clonberne on Sunday?
I'm expecting a tough game. They're to win two Ulster titles in a row. It's no mean feat. Like Ulster is highly competitive. It could even be one of the most competitive interprovincial competitions there is. So they are going to be tough. They've 8 girls on the Armagh panel, so they've experience there as well. So the big days they're used to. Um, it's going to be a tough battle out there for sure. Um, you know to as I said, to win the two Ulster finals was in a row is just brilliant, because up there there's probably over the years Donamoyne were kind of, the kingpins. So to come through 2 years in a row and look, they've the experience of the All Ireland semi-final last year. So I'm sure in their heads they're going to want to push on one step further. So it will be a battle on Sunday.
Does the experience you have as a team really stand to you on a week like this?
It does, in the sense, I suppose we've done it, a few times previous, but the nerves are still there. It's a new
Mm.
team. We haven't played them before. Things like that are there. But I do think the experience of being there before does stand to us. We've young girls on the team, but it's like they've been around for years. So it's kind of older heads and young shoulders kind of thing. But no, the experience of being there before definitely will stand to us in that sense.
You're probably not thinking about it at this stage, but it's a huge opportunity, isn't it, to get back to Crow Park?
Yeah, like anytime you get to play in Crow Park, it's a dream really. As a young girl, you couldn't imagine that you get to play there once, never mind twice with your club. So it is something that you really, really look forward to. Obviously we focus on Sunday first. That's a bonus, but our focus will be on Sunday firstly. But yeah, Crow Park to play there, for your club, it's huge, your community.
How has it been the last few years getting there with the club? Because I think even we seen Sarah Gormley's video last year after the All Ireland
Yeah.
and just the sheer emotion of from all of you of winning with your club there.
Yeah, like it's just as I said, our community, we're so tight knit. It's so small. Like, all our fathers are best friends, and it's such a family day. And you do, as Sarah did, get overcome with emotion because it's such, an achievement to be there and put Kilkerrin Clonberne on the map. Because I suppose before we maybe won our first, second, maybe people didn't ever really heard of the club in other counties in Ireland. So, it's a huge occasion, and that's why the emotion does be there. But yeah, it's brilliant for the community for sure.
Great stuff. Well, Lisa, thanks a million for coming on to this week's podcast and the very best of luck on Sunday.
Thanks, Paul.